Well, good evening, everybody. Mark Finan here in the home weather office on this Thursday evening. It's now the 30th day of January 2025, and this is the evening weather briefing. Yeah, I'm doing two-a-days here now that we do have this rain and potentially good soaking rain on the way that will last a little while. And the reason to do this twice a day is that we are seeing pretty good fluctuations in the model runs. And so what I'm showing you in the morning are the 12Z runs, the runs that are initiated at 4 a.m. Pacific time, and then the runs that come out in the evening from the 0Z run, those are initiated at 4 p.m. our time. So I'm showing you both of them so we can get a better idea. And when you get into a case like this, what often happens is that some runs are wetter or faster or slower, and then some runs are kind of drier, and they vary on timing. And so what we do as meteorologists, you always try to kind of split the difference. Some runs, you just kind of know in the back of your head that they look too wet, or conversely, sometimes it's like, yeah, that looks too dry. And I think that was the case of the morning NAM run, the 12Z run that I showed you earlier. It does look as though that run was too dry on Sunday. So let's get right to it, and let me show you what the latest model runs are thinking. And we'll start with the HRRR run. And so this is the high resolution model that goes on an hour-by-hour basis. And this will show you a really good idea of when the rain is going to start. This is 6 a.m. on Friday. We have rain on the north coast. We have pretty good breeze in the north coast as well as in the northern part of the valley. But I don't think wind is going to be a major issue with this system as we go through the next couple of days. This is around 10 o'clock in the morning. We now have rain in Sacramento County as well as El Dorado County and to the north. The snow level hugging around 6,000 feet, maybe even as low as 5,500 feet. But I think at that 5,000, 5,500 foot level, you'll see more of a mix. It really is going to be more one of those cases where you get into chain controls through the middle part of the day. So again, this is 10 a.m. on Friday. Let's go through the afternoon. Yeah, nice soaking steady rain. Let's go ahead to 4 p.m. There's 4 p.m. Widespread rain from north of Redding all the way down to Modesto with a snow level then around 6,000 feet, maybe 6,500 feet. We would see chain controls continue on 80, 50, and 88. So that's Friday, 4 p.m. Still have about an hour and a half before the sun goes down. As we head into the evening, the rain continues. This is around 8 p.m. and then gradually, the rain lifts a little bit to the north. But this is all the way up to Saturday morning. Around 9 o'clock in the morning, the snow level should be a little bit higher, maybe then up around 7,000 feet. So maybe slushy snow on the summit, but still probably enough for chain controls. And then you'll notice that the rain continues. And again, that's around mid-morning on Saturday. And then this model will only go through the late afternoon. And as you can see, Saturday looks like it's going to rain all day throughout the valley and the foothills, with the snow level likely varying throughout the day. Let me show you how much precipitation this model is talking about. Now this takes into consideration what we have on Friday and into the day on Saturday. 1.21 over Sacramento. The foothills, so let's say estimated around, Placerville. This model is saying 3 inches of rain. The same would be true around Auburn. For Grass Valley, Nevada City, maybe pushing 4 to 5 inches of rain. And then you go farther up the hill, we'd be looking at 4 inches of rain. So the nice soaking rain, because you have the perfect orographics and that nice bullseye that incorporates much of the American River Basin as well as the Feather River Basin. So all of that to be draining into Oroville as well as into Folsom Lake, which both of those have plenty of room to absorb that rain. And in terms of snow, this will be thrown off a little bit because of the fluctuating snow levels. And again, I think this model runs a little bit high, and as you see, 2 to 3 feet here. But boy, I think that's going to be elevations above 8,000 feet. Let's put it this way: I don't think at dawn or summit we're going to see 17 inches of snow. That just doesn't seem quite right. All right, let's go to the way the NAM shows this. So this is the 0Z North American model, and if you watched the morning update that I did, you'll remember that we did see the rain taper off on Sunday. Well, the evening model goes against that. The timing looks rather similar. Scattered showers on Friday morning and then settling into a steady rain in the afternoon. This is 1 in the afternoon, the snow level around 6,500. A steady rain on Friday night. This is 7 p.m. Friday. A nice Friday night to, stay inside, maybe have some beef stew and just watch the rain come down. So much needed rain. But the snow level probably up around 7,000 feet and maybe getting a little higher as we head into Saturday. This is Saturday morning around 7 a.m. A nice little grading here, so it'll be breezy and wet on Saturday morning with perhaps a little bit of a pause as we head into the latter part of the day. This is 7 p.m., a break in the rain, and I do think I like this solution. However, what you'll see here is that the orographic lift continues to keep places like Grass Valley and Auburn, Placerville, Jackson, and Sonora and Tuolumne County all pretty wet. So while there may be some breaks in the rain in the valley, this upslope wet flow will likely keep the west slope of the Sierra pretty wet. And as we head into the day on Sunday, where the earlier model was pretty dry on Sunday, this shows it pretty wet. And then we see that line gradually lift to the north as we get into early Monday, perhaps lifting that snow level a little bit more. Now this will go out a little bit farther in time, so this goes all the way to Monday morning. Let's take a look at the total precip accumulation here. So this is much more time. So between Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and very early Monday morning, this model gives the Sacramento area more than 2 inches of rain. Places like Rockland and Roseville and Folsom, probably 3 inches of rain. And then a bullseye here. And you notice where the bullseye is. The Southern Feather River Basin, the Yuba River Basin, as well as the American River Basin and the Cosumnes. 7 to 8 inches of rain, or at least water, at elevations above 5,000 feet, an indication of perfect orographic flow. It might be a little on the high side, but it certainly gives you an idea of what we're looking at. Now let's go farther out in time with the GFS, and this will show something similar. This is Friday morning at 7 a.m. And as we head into the day on Friday, probably not much different. Saturday on this model also looks pretty wet, especially from, let's say, Stanislaus County to Butte County and the foothills adjacent. So that would include places like Lassen County, Plumas County, El Dorado County, as well as Amador and Calaveras County. Just a wet day on the west slope on Saturday. Sunday, there may be a little bit of a break. Now, this model is quite a bit different from the NAM. This is at 4 p.m. on Sunday, and you'll notice that all of this is rain, including in the Tahoe Basin, lifting the snow well up to the north. Now, this is an indication of warmer air moving in, or at least a line shifting farther to the north. I think that we could see the snow level perhaps around 7,500 feet. And while it'll likely be wet in the Sierra, I think that one of the messages we can get out here is that while we are looking at some pretty wet weather over the weekend, I'll back this up a little bit, is that, so we'll go back to Saturday. Saturday looks like it could be a snowy, slushy day in the Sierra. Sunday right now looks as though it could be warmer, so that perhaps travel over the summit may just be rain. Yeah, not the best for ski areas, but maybe Sunday would be a better day for travel. And I think that's a good message to get out, that Sunday may be a better day to travel in the mountains. So as we get into the day Monday, we have another little wave coming along that brings in some cooler air, and that will drop the snow level once again, so that by Monday night and Tuesday, and right now Tuesday looks as though it could be a stormy day. This is Tuesday mid-morning. We have wind, we have snow, we have rain. Yeah, that's a pretty good wave rolling through that will last into very early Wednesday, and then perhaps some weak activity beyond that. Let me back this back up to about Monday before this next wave rolls through, and go to total precip accumulation here. And you'll see on this model that bullseye is a little bit farther north through the Feather River Basin, and that's that area where we have 10, 12, 13 inches of water. This one has less rain for the Sacramento area, as well as the American River Basin. I think the bottom line here for hydro concerns, for rivers, streams, creeks, all that sort of thing, I don't think that's an issue. I also still don't think that's going to be an issue even on the Cosumnes, which is an uncontrolled river. So for those of you in Wilton, I still don't think we're going to see this reach an area that's critical for you in Wilton. We will see some impressive rises on the Cosumnes because it's very flat right now, but I think the inflows into it will be able to be handled by the channel itself. And then if you look at the American River and the Feather River Basin, as well as the Yuba, All of those will be captured by downstream reservoirs, which have a lot of room. And then for the valley floor, I think we're looking at some nice steady rain, and while some area streams and creeks will likely rise, I don't think we're going to see so much rain so fast that those are going to be an issue. Now, the National Weather Service did put out a flood watch for the valley, and maybe if you've got an app that it gave you that sort of a warning. But I really think that's going to be more for perhaps some street flooding in some poor draining areas. I don't really, at this point, I don't see it being an issue. So again, for this, I'm especially concerned for those of you in Wilton that hear flood. And as I mentioned in the morning briefing, flood is kind of a trigger word for those of you that live in areas that are flood prone, like Wilton can be from the Cosumnes River, but I just don't see that happening at this point. And if you look again at the main stem rivers like the Sacramento, the Feather River, the Yuba River, the American River, all of those big rainfall totals will be able to be captured downstream by the reservoirs because there's a lot of room in those. So if there's going to be an issue, it would be, maybe ponding on roadways from time to time as you get some of the steadier rain, maybe on Saturday and then maybe again by Tuesday. But again, I think we're going to see nice spaces in the rain, and it's not going to come down so hard, so fast that it should cause any problems. So that's what I've got for you on this Thursday evening. I'll be back in the morning to show you the 12Z runs, to show you any differences, but it does look as though the models are beginning to come together in terms of a solution about what we are expecting, and some much needed rain. Now going on 4 weeks since the valley has seen any rain. It's much needed, but I think it's going to be able to be managed, but it just may alter some of your weekend plans. Have a good evening. I'll talk with you later.